We'll say the pledge and prayer and we'll call our meeting to order.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Heavenly Father, we come before you this morning with humble hearts as we look to do the county business. Just help us have a heart filled with gratitude for all the many blessings that you pour out upon us, dear Heavenly Father. Just this fall time, just remember this change of the seasons and seeing all the harvest happening. Just reminds us of how blessed we are, this community. We just thank you for that, dear Heavenly Father. Pray you be with us today. Give us discernment and wisdom as we look to do business in a way that just glorifies and honors you. We thank you and we praise you in Jesus' name. Amen. Morning, everyone. We'll call the meeting to order. Our first item on the agenda here is claims and minutes.
Motion to approve.
Second.
So we have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you. Okay, next, our veteran of the month, Daryl. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning to all. Take the opportunity to introduce the Commissioner's Veteran of the Month for October. Harold Lehman was born in December of 1947 in Stuttgart, Germany. Harold is one of 6 children born to Harold and Lucina. He graduated from Columbia City High School, and we don't know that against him, and joined the United States Army in August of 1966. Was immediately sent to basic training in Fort Polk, Louisiana. Seems to be a common theme. Great place to train. The biggest thing, following basic training, he was sent to Fort Eustis, Virginia, where he was responsible for learning to be a helicopter maintenance tech. He then deployed to Vietnam and was assigned to the 540th Transportation Company, 14th Transportation Battalion. The 540th began the Theater Aircraft Recovery Program in 1967. The forward deployed units would send unserviceable but repairable parts to the 540th, meaning when an aircraft was down and it was deemed a repairable, those things would come back to the 540th and the higher level GS maintenance, which is another piece there. And what it was designed to do is to keep serviceable parts in the supply system in theater in Vietnam, and easily accessible to other units that may need those parts in the future. After completing his active duty service in the Army, he continued to serve in our nation's Air National Guard, culminating with 32 years of honorable service. He was discharged in February of 2005 with the rank of Senior Master Sergeant, receiving numerous recognitions and honors, just to include the Air Medal, Vietnam Service Medal, and Vietnam Campaign Medal. After Vietnam, he came to Kosciuszko County and worked as a lathe operator while remaining full-time in the Air National Guard, located in Fort Wayne, Indiana. He continued to devote his time, effort, and resources to the American Legion 258, Dutchtown Brethren, and New Hope Wesleyan churches. Harold married Sharon in January of 1979, continues to live in Pierceton, Indiana. Together, they continue to gain strength and happiness from their 7 children, 21 grandchildren, and 9 great grandchildren. Ladies and gentlemen, Veteran of the Month, Harold Lehman. Got it. All right, with that, Kosciuszko County awards the Veteran of the Month to Harold in recognition of outstanding contributions to the mission of serving the citizens of the United States, the residents of Kosciuszko County, and his honorable service as a member of the United States Army and Air National Guard, Indiana Air National Guard. Thank you for your service.
Well, I don't really know what to say, except, that God gave us government. We're here, so it's US government. And that government's job is to protect us from evildoers and to take care of punishing them. And then also there's the military to protect us from outside the United States. And it's just something, it started out when I was 7 or 8. I happened to see a jet fighter plane at the Western Auto Store, and that's where it got started. I wanted to be in aviation, and so I flew in the Army and got a pair of wings there. Air National Guard, as it worked out, I got to go on flying status. I worked there full time, and then I went to other places, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, Turkey, Jordan, Egypt. I even got to do my best job was drug interdiction in Panama. What a beautiful place. You get off the airplane, you can just smell it. It's good, but I won't take up any more of your time. I'm just, praise the Lord. I was one of those people that's lucky, I'm still here. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Okay, next on our agenda is Steve, County Highway.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Steve. Good to see you.
I have a couple of things to bring before you today. The first one is going to be a MOU between the city of Warsaw and Kosciuszko County Highway Department. This is a continuation of the MOU that we've had in the past. We revisit it every so often to make sure that the roads haven't changed or they've accepted more in. Dustin Dillon and the city of Warsaw will be taken in front of their board and the mayor to be signed as well. And it is the exact same one that we had signed before. And I would like to keep that. And what that is for maintenance, for snow plowing and patching for roads that we share, where half of the road goes into the city and half of the road goes into the county. So we have to take responsibility for those to make sure that they don't get missed.
Steve, I always appreciate you guys working together with them. I know that there's these roads where it's county on one side, city on the other. It's like, so you're only gonna plow half the road, just if we kind of decide, okay, well, you take this mile, we'll take that mile, and kind of do a little horse trading almost on our snow removal and maintenance. So appreciate you working with the local governments on that. So
Thank you.
with that, I'd look for a motion.
I make motion that we accept his request for the MOU of City of Warsaw.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
The next thing I have is.
Steve, I just want to say, you mentioned the S word first.
Yeah,
Okay.
I was joking, Bob.
Okay.
The next thing I bring before you is that I would like permission to purchase 2 trucks, one a tandem axle and a single axle. These are Western Stars, and they're the 46X model. We've done our due diligence and tried to go through different truck buddies and truck companies, and this is a Sourcewell contract. This would be for truck centers in W.A. Jones with a Sourcewell contract of a total of $288,247.52 for a single axle and $337,321.68 for a tandem axle dump truck.
And those are fully equipped with belly blades and everything.
Yes. So that would come through belly blade, underbody, your hoisting hitch up front, and the box itself. And we've been buying to get a stainless bed to make sure that they last longer.
Good.
These are in our budget, by the way.
Okay, I make a motion to accept his request on both trucks.
Second.
We got a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you very much.
Keep up the good work, Steve. I'm getting a lot of comments on how much asphalt paving's been going on in the county. It's phenomenal. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Thank you. We're trying our best and the season's wrapping up here shortly.
And Armstrong Road is beautiful.
Thank you.
I was on Old 30 last week and it looks good too. So. Okay, Sheriff, you have anything this morning? Okay. County Administrator.
I have a couple items for you. First up would be out at the coroner's building. We need to replace the fence out there that goes around the property. It's an old wood fence. It's rotting off at the bottom of the posts and some of the sections have blown over and been damaged. I have 3 quotes: Custom Fencing at $18,250, Mike's Fencing at $19,350, and Mueller's Fencing and Supplies, $19,443. These are all comparison. They would tear down the old fencing and remove it and dispose of it. And my recommendation would be to go with Custom Fencing at $18,250.
Make motion to accept the request.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Okay,
And Marcia,
next.
You did say that that's all chain link with the.
Yeah,
those
chain
slats in
link with
there
the
for the-
slats in it, yes. Next would be a quote from Jack Lowry. This would be to continue the renovations in the old courthouse. We just recently completed renovations of the surveyor's office and the assessor's personal and real property offices. This would allow us to continue that project, and this would be for the treasurer's office. It is $32,200. That would be paint and flooring. That would be them moving the furniture and doing repairs to the walls as needed.
As we're doing that, we're also trying to incorporate the handicap accessibility.
Yes, we are, as office by office.
With that, look for a motion.
And move we approve.
Second.
So we have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay, just a side note, this being approved, it would be encumbered. The project would not start until after the first of the year because of the timeline of collecting taxes.
Very good. Thank you.
Next, I have an amendment to the Kosciuszko County 2025 holidays. The employees will be off Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday for the Christmas holiday. That would be the 24th, 25th, and 26th. And then there's an amendment to the meetings for this year. There's a meeting scheduled for December 30th. That will be off of the calendar, and that meeting will actually be held on December 23rd due to the holidays.
Yeah, I know as we look through our calendar, just trying to accommodate everybody around the holiday season. And also just thought this year we didn't have any election holidays for our county employees this year. So we're ended up giving them an extra holiday after Christmas so that they'll be able to have a Monday, Thursday, and Friday off. So it'd be the Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, and then the day after Christmas. Gives them a little extra boost there at the end of the year for all the hard efforts that they've given us this year. So just a little token of our appreciation as commissioners.
Make them 5-day weekends. You can go to Florida for a couple of days.
That
So
would
with
be
that,
you, Bob.
look at a,
Okay.
look at a motion to approve.
I make a motion to approve that.
Second.
We got a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Thank you. I'm sure the employees will appreciate it. That's all I have.
Terminal service, is that you?
Oh, yes. Yes, that would be me. Sorry. Forgot they
Too
slipped
excited
out.
about that extra day you get off.
Right. We'll pay for it. I know that. Anyways, so we have terminal services data, interlocal agreements with all the outer line police departments. What that does is it gives them access to what the sheriff's department has here. So each year we send a interlocal agreement out. They have to go through their processes included in their budget, have their councils approve it. So this is just approving those agreements. And this is an annual thing that we do.
There's 10 different departments throughout the county that avail themselves of this service. And we have those listed here in the amounts that that they'll be receiving. So I'd make a motion and we just approve all 10 of those, and if anyone wants to see those numbers, we can have them available to them. So that's my motion.
Second.
So we have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Now that is all I have.
Okay, Ed.
We have a resolution approving the appointment of the members of the board for the Northeast Indiana Regional Development Authority. It is the reappointment of those members already serving, those being James Kahn, Jeff Turner, Bob Marshall, Andrew Briggs, and Gene Donning. So I would submit that to the commissioners for approval.
Any questions? Otherwise, I look for a motion.
I'd move we approve.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Motion carries. Thank you. Okay, next, Bill. Good morning.
Good morning.
Our GIS director. Good morning, Bill.
That's who I am. Back in March, I got approval to apply for what's called an Indiana Seed Grant through the Indiana GIS office. I brought it before the commissioners, brought it before the council. So you gave me approval to do that, to apply for this grant. Back in, I think in July, we actually did apply officially with the state GIS office. We were awarded in August with that grant. So it was a $30,000 grant. They kind of set up this grant more to be, to work with a vendor. So we were going to work with Abin-Marsh out of South Bend to do that. And so what you have in front of you today that I need someone to sign is a professional services agreement between the county and Abin-Marsh to kind of do a lot of the heavy lifting on that project.
Those, Ed, you've looked at that contract and
I
I see
have.
there was it attached to our normal terms.
We have, yes.
Make a motion to accept his request, and I would ask the president of the commissioners to be the signee for you.
Sounds great.
Okay with that?
Second.
So we have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Bill, is on that, that's just, they're gonna help us understand some of the center lines on our roads. I mean, what all type of?
Yeah, they're
work is
trying
this?
to, I think the major goal is to get our data up to what's called Next Gen 911, to be able
Okay.
to sort of support 911 operations. It's kind of cleaning up our data. I mean, it's clean for our purposes, but when you're trying to put 92 counties together, because it's kind of going to be also used by like state police, that's one thing. We send our data on a yearly basis. Every county does. They send roads, address points, parcels, and local boundaries down to the state. And then the state kind of merges those all together for, Department of Local Government Finance, state police, others use that data because we kind of know our data is more detailed than any data, but so it's kind of merged into one, but they're trying to get it to where all counties, the data kind of matches so they can all be kind of merged together. So if that makes sense.
Good to know. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate your efforts on that.
That's cool.
Okay, System Administrator Eric.
See ya.
Good to see you too. I'm just asking permission today to apply for the the 2026 court reform grant. It's for $40,000. We'd use this in Superior One to start off with. We just have some aging technology in all our courtrooms, and we're trying to figure out how to,
Pay for that with some grants.
yes, how to get them upgraded.
It's always good to help find grant sources. If no questions, I look for a motion.
I make a motion, we approve his request.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thanks, Eric. Keep up the good work.
Okay. It's like, we're past our 9:15. I guess there isn't necessarily, so I'm looking for, looks like the next one is vacation hearing request. Matt?
Good morning.
Good morning,
We've
Matt.
got a couple different things for you this morning. First one we've got is a vacation request that was presented to the Plan Commission. And we are up in Weimers Park, Barbie area. And Steve's got a copy, so I'm going to keep my map.
Okay.
With that, what they are looking at doing is vacating two older platted right-of-ways. One that runs east-west between two lots. The other one is a short north-south stub that goes up to a smaller platted right-of-way. Plan Commission did have a chance to take a look at that, and you'll see on the map those two areas. The east-west one was slightly improved with gravel. The north-south, what I'm calling north-south, is not as passable due to riprap that was put in to stabilize a hill. After looking at it, Plan Commission did hear all remonstrance, heard the hearing, but is passing along a favorable recommendation to vacate both right-of-ways as presented.
Okay. Morning, Steve.
Good morning, Steve Snyder on behalf of the petitioners. As Matt indicated, the Plan Commission looked at this in some detail, even after there were some objections to it, explored the conditions that exist. And I tried to give you some indication of those conditions in the both the aerial maps and the land-based maps that are towards the end of what I gave you. At one point, the Benfield house, there are two Benfield houses. The one you see in the first photograph is the north house. I'll call it north. Nothing's north-south here. And the other one is to the south of that riprap. Well, what had happened, there was so much water that came down that it literally washed away a wall of the basement that had to be replaced. It was replaced. The riprap was placed there to prevent it from occurring again. And as a result, that alleyway became non-traversable. For a while, one neighbor was actually using part of the Benfield property to get up and down, but that's no longer the situation. So what we're looking to do is to vacate that stub that is between the two Benfield lots because it can't be traversed. There may be some sewers installed by the sewer district there. We have a provision in the ordinance that says those survive any vacation. It does automatically by law anyway. But this way we protected the sewer district. Andy Boxberger looked at it and approved the ordinance with that provision in it. The longer stretch that's to be vacated actually serves as a driveway to the Benfield property. It has several large trees in the middle of it and has become a safety hazard because some people in the neighborhood tend to drive their off-road vehicles at an unreasonable rate of speed up and down that hill. We would like to prevent that before somebody is severely injured, for instance, by running into a tree or running into the lid of the sewer pump that's on the Benfield property, which has happened on one occasion. When we look at the elements to this, we're not denying access to any public place. No access to another's property is being eliminated. The property to the west of the Benfield properties has access all the way down that alley, right to the back of their property. No church or school is being accessed, and clearly the area has been fully developed. We also have several neighbors, if you want to hear from any of them, who have indicated that they're in favor of this vacation just because it cleans up the neighborhood.
Thank you, Steve. So with that, we'll open the meeting up to the public here. Anybody here to speak in favor of this vacation? Yep, if you want to come to the mic and state your name, please, for the record. Morning.
Good morning. My name's Hope Benfield, and I own the two properties that I want the property vacated between the two. But as Steve had indicated, we have had a lot of traffic up and down through there at 2:30 in the morning, you know, on the weekends when people are out drinking and kids having fun. So I improved that a little bit with gravel for a neighbor of mine's elderly father to be able to get down to the lake. So that was a mistake on my part. Ever since I did that, they've been You know, they go down through there and they see it and they're like, oh yeah, we got a 4-wheel drive. Let's go up there and see what it is. So the road's about 3 feet from our bedroom window and our gas meter is right there on that edge too. And we have had several instances where kids coming down through there, they don't realize how steep it is and the gravel, they lose control, they start skidding, and they have hit a few things. We're just worried that sometime they may go into the gas meter, into our bedroom, things like that. We're just, it's really a safety concern. We want to get that shut down.
And with this vacation, I'm assuming the property to the east would take part of that?
Pardon me?
The property would be split as far as you would receive some of that, but some of that would go to the neighboring property.
Yeah, the one that's between my two properties would be split between my two properties,
Right.
and then the other would be split between the, Mafera's, residence and ours.
Okay. Yeah. Well, thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
Anybody else here speak in favor? Yeah.
Quickly.
Yeah, good morning.
Either read it. I have turned this in already to the plan commission, but let me briefly, this petition to vacate. My name is Stephen A. Mafera. My father is Stephen J. Mafera. So I write on the behalf of Stephen J., my father, who's on the property. I'm his power of attorney. I respectfully requested High Street and Hannah Street, the undeveloped adjoining property to my father's property, as well as alongside the Benfield's property. My father has lived at this address over 51 years. The house was originally built in 27. It stood beside this road for nearly a century now, despite its designation, and since its beginning, these streets have never been developed into a functional roadway. Okay, and have never served as a necessary part of the community's street system. There have been, over the past 5 decades, at least, and I have been there as even a younger child, remembering this time, it's never been developed. Even though a pathway may exist, High Street has remained in its natural state, as well as Hannah Street, and has not been constructed, improved, or maintained as a usable roadway. And that was the original intent when it was platted back in 100 years ago. There's been no regular public use. Few, if any, residents or visitors have ever relied on these streets for regular access. And I'm again speaking as a person that's been there 51 years, okay, and seen it changed and developed. And the Benfields have put some of their own effort into it, of course, around their house to make sure their house doesn't wash out. And that's mainly the reasoning for that. There is occasional family use, as we would use to go down to the dock because we're up on the hill. We would go down that area sometimes, just as the Benfields helped us to establish kind of a pathway down that direction. Although it's definitely not a car uses at all. There's no public necessity that we've seen, and there is very little use at all of the properties, because adjoining properties are fully served by the other streets, okay, and they could get in to the other areas. So vacating these streets would not restrict access or harm to the public interest or in any way. There have been, as Mr. Benfield mentioned, on rare occasions, outsiders have used the undeveloped strip irresponsibly. Okay, we've had times where even people would walk down with their dart guns and hunt squirrels along those roads and stuff. And it is a community, so it's not really a good idea to be doing that type of, hunting in that area. So that's an area, as you mentioned, ATVs have raced up and down. And it is creating a safety risk in that area. His home is very close to that area, and if you're on gravel like that and you're moving along, you could easily skid off into that house. So that's a concern. So for those reasons, I respectfully ask that these roads be vacated. We haven't had to do that or use those at all. So and again, it's not really pertinent to the community, and everybody has access to their locations. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
for coming in. Anybody else here to speak in favor? Morning. Please state your name if you would, please.
Lawrence Noble.
Okay.
We own the house, so one in between Polk Benfield and us,
Okay,
and I don't oppose it, you know, being closed. It's a hazard really, going up and down that steep hill.
Right.
I mean, the gravel's loose and it's narrow.
Yeah.
I mean, there's really no way to get anything up and down the road.
yeah, yeah.
So I don't oppose it.
Okay,
All right.
sounds good. Good morning.
Morning. Yeah, my name is Ron Short and I'm a couple doors down from Hoke and Lawrence. Tony, I have no objections to that being vacated. That's all.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for coming in. Anybody else here to speak in favor? Hearing none. How about anybody opposed? None opposed. We'll close it to the public. Commissioners?
I make a motion, we accept the unanimous recommendation of area plan.
And I would second.
So we have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion carries. Thank you.
All right, next one I'll bring up is for a rezoning recommendation. This is for Roy Griffin. This is zoning 2025-23, and we are up the Wawasee area. On the northwest corner of Crow Road and East Wawasee. Tract in question is zoned commercial currently. If you look at the map, anything yellow is residential. Red would be commercial. You can see that kind of small island in the middle there. This property actually came before the Board of Zoning Appeals not too long ago. Petitioner bought it and wanted to build a house. Board of Zoning Appeals accommodated that with an exception, but looking at the long-term impact and how to make this more compatible, they made a condition that it would be rezoned to residential so that we could avoid future hearings coming back every time they wanted to change something. With that, petitioners did file a rezoning request to go to residential. That recommendation did go to the Plan Commission. Plan Commission did review it and send a favorable recommendation to rezone to residential.
Steve Snyder on behalf of the petitioner. I pointed out at the Plan Commission, it was the shortest Plan Commission hearing ever. Because we simply agree with Matt. We're doing what he said, and like we always do. And and we're obviously in favor of the rezone.
Okay. Well, with that, we'll open it up to the public. Anybody here to speak in favor? About those opposed? Hearing none, we'll close it to the public. Commissioners?
I
Once
just have
again, I
one.
make a recommendation, a favorable recommendation, 8-0 vote on the behalf of the area plan.
So
I'd second that. I just have a question. How was it ever considered commercial?
That was actually the old location of, if I remember right, the Guide way back.
Okay,
So Guide
that
Restaurant
makes sense.
burnt down and yep.
history. Okay, you got a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carried.
All right. Body maps here. Okay, our next recommendation that we're bringing to you is for Kenneth Light, and this is 2025-21. We're down at the southern end of the county, 1200 south, and petitioner right there has a tract of ground. If you look at that map, everything that is zoned or unzoned, uncolored, is zoned agricultural. He has a 11.79 acre tract right there, kind of a funky shape, small tract that goes back to a wider piece. What they are wanting to do is rezone that tract of ground from ag to ag 2 with the idea that they would be creating one additional lot there. They have some physical limitations they're going to have to work around through the planning process. There are 2 county regulated drains, flood zone, and some existing buildings to work through. Petitioner is aware of that and would have to address that all through the planning process. Ultimately, the recommendation to rezone from ag to ag 2 was a favorable recommendation passed along from the Planning Commission.
Okay, thank you. Anybody here to speak in favor of this petition? Anyone here speaking opposed? Hearing none, we'll close it to the public.
Once again, I make the motion that we accept the unanimous recommendation of area plan and their 8-0 vote.
Second.
So we have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Motion carries.
All right, moving right along, we're going to move up to the northwest corner. And this is a rezoning request for Mass. Right there, that L-shaped tract ground in the middle of the property. Petitioners have a tract of ground, actually has 2 residences on it. That was approved back in 2018 by the Board of Zoning Appeals to have 2 residences for family members. Fast forward to today, petitioners are now wanting to be able to split those 2 properties, residences, onto their own tracts. Planning Commission did review it, look at it. If you look at the map, the zoning categories were just to the west of State Road 19. Planning Commission felt that this was an appropriate location to rezone from Ag to Ag 2 with the idea that this would only be a 2-lot subdivision as self-offered at the hearing. So there is a favorable recommendation to rezone from Ag to Ag 2.
Steve Snyder for the petitioner. This thought to rezone and subdivide actually came from Lamar when he finished constructing the house for his parents and realized that their tax bill was significantly higher because they could not claim a homestead exemption. So he came to me and he said, what can we do? I said, well, the only thing you can do is petition the Plan Commission to rezone it to Ag 2, create a 2-lot plat, and then it will have its own parcel number and would qualify for a homestead exemption. But as you look at the area, this particular layout lends itself to exactly what's being proposed. And there is some Ag 2 zoning just to the north of this. It would be a 2-lot subdivision laid out as I've shown on the first page of the handout. We can meet all the setbacks with that division line. We just need the Ag 2 rezoning before we can start the platting process.
Okay. Anybody here to speak, open up the public, anybody here to speak in favor of this petition? Anybody opposed? Hearing none, we'll close it to the public.
Once again, I make a recommendation, we accept the unanimous recommendation of the area plan with an 8-0 vote.
Second.
Matt, one question. So
Yes.
could all the structures dividing this lot meet the requirements of setback and all that stuff? So there's no issues with that?
That'll be a requirement of the plat. They will have to meet, and they, luckily in this case, they do have enough room to meet that accommodations.
We got a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
All right, last rezoning request we've got for you. Swap that out. This one is on 1100 North. This is a petition for Lyle and Becky Faulkner, and this is 2025-24. They have a 39.77 acre tract of ground off of 1100 North, about a quarter mile west of 19. Petitioners were requesting to rezone this large tract from Ag to Ag 2. Plan Commission looked at this and had pretty lengthy discussion. There were a few minimal limitations on it with some drainage. But I think the bigger factor was the Plan Commission looking at the comprehensive plan and what the goals and objectives were. In this case, a large development to this extent, recognizing the county needs housing, but logical locations with sewer, water, whatnot to see growth. This was a parcel of ground they did not feel would fit into the comprehensive plan's goals and objectives and would really be jumping out to almost fit the, I'm going to say the key term for spot zoning in this case. Excuse me. After looking at it, after discussing it, they are passing along a recommendation, unanimous recommendation, not to rezone this tract of ground.
Steve Snyder on behalf of the petitioner. As I told the Plan Commission, I think this is a rather unique situation. And part of the handout I gave you was essentially the capsule summary of the housing study that had been put together by various groups, Community Foundation, Habitat, so on and so forth. And detailed, I gave the entire report to the Plan Commission, so it's in the record. But it detailed the housing needs in the county. And I think we can all acknowledge that to meet those housing needs, we need vacant property. There virtually are no spots left within the corporate limits of municipalities where you can have a significant subdivision and meet the requirements of the subdivision control ordinance, whether it's the counties or the city of Warsaw or Winona Lake. That there's no more land left. We're going to be taking vacant land to provide the housing needs that we already know and have known for a long time need to be met. When I was driving over here this morning, I was listening to an article on Bloomberg Radio about the need for new home construction in the next 2 years to catch up from the financial crisis in 2008. That's how far behind we are. In the next 2 years, there would have to be 3.5 million new starts for housing to make up for the shortfall that exists right now. The Community Foundation study documented that better on a localized basis for the county, but that's a national situation. It's been created by a lot of things, but essentially it started with the 2008 financial crisis, and we've never recovered. At some point, we have to decide that, yes, we're going to provide that housing, at least in this county. And to do that, we're going to have to look at some situations that might not be the most attractive, but are still attractive. I'll tell you about the Faulkner property. The owner of the Faulkner property is elderly. He would like to sell this for the highest and best price he can get, so he can keep paying his expenses as he gets older. That's the first thing. But the second thing is we've got A2 zoning right next door to it. We've got, I think that's about a 9-acre tract that's right next to it that shows up on the aerial photo. So we have 40 acres of what appears to be, based upon the technical committee's analysis, prime development land, but it's also prime farmland. We're going to have to take some of that prime farmland at some point to provide additional housing in the county, whether it's immediately adjacent to a municipality or more remotely located. Ag 2 lends itself perfectly for this parcel because we have minimum acreage requirements of 1 acre. Had a little conversation with Neil Brown this morning, and he said, yeah, you're going to have those areas where you have wells and septics, and wells and septics can serve well. And that's what we would have here. 1 acre lots. Maybe by the time you got streets in, you might have the potential for 34 or 35 lots on a 39-acre tract. But each one of them would be a minimum of 1 acre, would provide more than adequate space for a septic system and a well, and then meets the housing needs of the community. We're also in the northwest part of the county where the housing demand is a little different. You see it all the time with requests for 2 residences on 1 parcel in the Amish community. And that's going to continue. And the Amish community is renowned for taking care of its elders. And this would be one of those situations that could be utilized for providing that needed housing, in addition to housing non-Amish members by providing a logical place. We're close to State Road 19. We have the availability of that main artery to handle traffic from this subdivision. We have soil types that are adequate, and we have space to adequately develop this for the purpose of meeting the housing needs we know are going to come. Those housing needs aren't always going to be a 60-foot by 200-foot residential lot in a very dense subdivision. There are going to be those people who say, yes, I have a need for the housing, but I'd like to have more space. Or in the case of Ag 2 zoning, I'd like my kids to have a goat for 4-H. This is one of those unique situations that we can provide that type housing in a generally agricultural district because of the provisions you made when you adopted the Ag 2 zoning classification. It's a mix of residential in an agricultural area. And that's precisely what we're proposing here. If we look at the comprehensive plan, we're probably never going to develop anything more for housing needs. Because the comprehensive plan looks at agricultural land and says it's sacrosanct. And in this particular case, we have a willing seller. We could probably find that willing developer to come along and develop these 1 acre lots, 1 acre plus lots, and make this an affordable area for that specialized residential housing, but still falls into the category of providing housing for the county. And that's what we're suggesting is appropriate here. They're going to have to be some of the old taboos about developing residential land thrown by the wayside. Otherwise, we're never going to be able to meet the housing needs that the housing report from the Community Foundation pointed out. We've got to have that land available. This is a parcel that is available, that meets all the other requirements for an Ag 2 subdivision and has access onto State Road 19, which is the logical place to go, even though the comprehensive plan doesn't pinpoint this as residential.
Thank you, Steve.
I do have to defend the comprehensive plan a little bit. I don't think the comprehensive plan says no development in ag anywhere. I think that looks at that area. And our plan commission recognizes ground will have to come out of ag zoning for residential development in an orderly manner. You as commissioners have taken some excellent steps to establish sewer districts in those areas where there is development already that could happen. We've got the Chapman Tippy, we've got the Lakeland, we've got the Webster. All those areas have open ground that could look at that. The other red herring I think is really key is the housing study. I know you folks have been involved. Housing studies are really geared towards not just this one, but the last 2 or 3 committees and groups. High density housing is what our county needs. It needs high density housing. The rest will fill in on its own, I think. So the Plan Commission did consider those 2 points. The other thing I'll mention is the Ag 2 piece there. That was rezoned with the intention of 2 lots, one for a son, one for a father. Plan Commission felt that was reasonable at that time, but did not, look at this as a totally separate type situation. So just wanted to clarify those points.
Okay, no problem. Anybody else here to speak in favor of this petition?
I'll just respond to what Matt said. If you limit housing expansion in the county to only high density, then you're not going to be able to meet the needs of the people who want something less than high density. And that's what we need to consider.
Anybody else here to speak in favor? Hearing none, how about anyone opposed? Okay, we'll close it to the public.
Being part of the technical review committee that looked at this intently, as well as the area plan, we looked at a lot of things, farmland being the most valuable land we feel in this county. And the highest and best use in this area would be agriculture. I think when Mr. Faulkner bought this real estate, he probably paid $100 an acre. Now he's going to be able to sell it for 15 to 20,000, and it remained agricultural land. So, in keeping with the vote from area plan, I make a recommendation we not rezone this in their 8-0 vote.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion Carries.
Thank you all. This is all I have for you today. So thank you
That's-
very much.
Here you go.
Okay, next on our agenda is, Park and Rec. Couple change orders or couple final invoices, wrapping up our project.
Good morning, gentlemen,
Good
lady.
morning.
Just want to say thank you, by the way, for Christmas. I can tell you, everybody who had vacation days had already scheduled that day off, so they're all going to appreciate that. There was going to be a skeleton crew in my office.
That's okay. There's an election coming up next year. I'm just saying.
So, just two, one, I told you last time, we had a change order down. We are going to come back with a change order up. We took the bollards out. We immediately had people driving on the greenway. We put a bollard back in, a lot less than what was there, but more than sufficient. So the $3,850 represents the change order to put the bollards back in.
Okay. So any questions? Otherwise I'll look for a motion.
I'd move we approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Motion carries.
And then we had a small bill from the engineering firm, which is still within the contract. Actually, it was from April and we somehow missed getting paid. So we're catching up on that $4,687.50.
Okay. For a motion
I'd move we approve.
Second.
and a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Motion carries.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Appreciate your efforts there. It's good to have a ribbon cutting there last week. So.
Yes, it was great.
Okay, next, recorder, Deb. Is she here? Nope. You know anything about that, Alyssa? You could help us out?
Sure. She has, the contracts that are with CSI. They're the annual contracts that we do all the time. One of them is for the support, hold on.
Like support, microfilm,
Yeah,
and
the-
disaster recovery? Those
Yes,
three.
it's those three. These are the same contracts that we have, that she comes and asks for permission for every year. The recovery, the microfilm and the system support contracts. And Ed did look at these and said they could, be signed.
Okay, thank you. Any questions? Otherwise, I'll look for a motion.
I'd make a motion we accept the three requests.
Second.
So we have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Alyssa. Any other office holder, department head come for the commissioners this morning? Okay, any further business for the commissioners? Oop,
I just have one thing. Next Tuesday, the 28th, we will be having the tax sale. Just so it's on record that it's going to happen. Everything's in order and it'll be here
Okay.
on the 28th,
awesome. Thank you.
What time is that? Yeah, that's available.
10 o'clock.
10 a.m. Okay, thank you.
Okay, well, we'll see everyone back here on November the 4th. Hard to believe, November. Have a great day.
Did we need to? This is.